Following The Rock, we get a backstage segment with the Judgment Day. I think that everybody at this point is saying that these dudes are just straight up losers. You got Priest, who's like the biggest guy in the world, saying, "Hey, I think I found some way to put things in our favor to keep the title." Well, his voice. I think I found some way to put some things in our favor to keep these titles. And then you got Balor like, "Yeah, that's what I like to hear." It's like, yo, what is this group? Like, it's a group of lackeys and they have lackeys. How this group is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And they've had more than enough time in the main event scene to get themselves over. And I swear, week in and week out, it's as if they've gotten worse and worse. I mean, you had a stint where Dom got over, Rhea got herself over, but that's it. The Dom experiment, that pretty much came to an end. And Dom is going to be fine. Dom is going to be fine. He's going to have a fine career. But the Dom experiment with this group is over. The everybody experiment with this group is over. But that segment led into a match with Rick Ocean and the guy with the big head. What's his? I keep forgetting this guy's name. Jordan Devlin. What do they call him now? Sporty D. Whatever his name is now. I don't know what his name is now. Let me say this. This was a great match. And I like the way that they paced it because Rick Ocean can do all of these high spots and he can do normal wrestling. Whereas the guy with the stop sign forehead, he's a pure wrestler. And the way that they structured this match was that they didn't overload you with high spots. They didn't overload you with technical wrestling. They did a perfect blend of the two. And within doing the perfect blend of the two, it gave each of their specialties room to breathe. I will say this is a match for you to go out of your way to watch because it's not every day that I care about people that's doing, the flips and the kicks and all of that. It's not every day that I do, but the way that they structured this match told me a lot about what they're planning on doing with the mid card. I think that once Goon drops this title, it's going to be a free for all. I kind of came out of this feeling like they was positioning Ricochet uh to be one of those guys that's going to be in top contention for a mid-card title. But Goon has to drop the title first. And I don't know when that's going to be. Maybe SummerSlam. It definitely ain't going to be the Sammy. But they are loading up that mid-card so that when they can play with the title, it's going to be great. Like, even the spot that they had on the show, it kind of reminded me of WCW in the Cruiserweight days, where they would start the show with a bang, high flying excitement, or the technical wrestlers and the mixture of two. This was a really, really good representation of the Cruiserweight division that WCW had. It was the perfect representation of it. But they're loading this mid card up, and I think that it's going to be pretty special. Like, it's not every day that I care about Ricochet, but something about how they're presenting him right now, or as far as how they're trying to get him over as a ring presence, tells me that there's investment in it. And I think up next, they're going to start putting presentation back into his entrance, back into his presentation. They're going to start putting some investment into this guy. It's like the writing is on the wall. Again, y'all don't ever hear me high on certain type of guys, Ricochet being one of them. But again, sometimes when you know, you know. Where we get next? Sami Zayn and Bronson Reed. Let me say this. One thing that I like about what they're doing with, I had a voice crack. One thing I like what they're doing about Bronson Reed, or what they're doing with Bronson Reed, is how he almost comes off as if he's just there, but low key, this dude racks up wins, right? He racks up wins in a low key way. It's meaningless wins. However, he's beating guys with names. I think that this way down the line with a Bronson Reed, is that an ant? Yo, this fucking ant season, bro. It's an ant on my mic. Yeah, I got a hole at. One thing with Bronson Reed is when it's his time, he's going to already have the credibility to be the barometer. As I said in the video with Ricochet, they're building up this mid card, and I think that it's a very, very strong mid card that these guys are building up. And I think that Bronson Reed needs to be one of the guys at the front of it. You got Bronson, Gable, Flippy guy, what's his name? Ricochet. And even the guy he wrestled with the big stop sign head. I think I found his name, JD McDonough. Like, and a plethora of other people. Dom is going to be a star on SmackDown. We're not worried about him on Raw, but I'm thinking like as pertaining to Raw, they're building up a huge nucleus of mid-card guys for that mid-card title. Fuck, I just realized I did something stupid. In editing down, oh man. I had that whole thing edited and I freaking erased the whole thing. Anyway, that's not for you guys. Pretty good match with Sammy and Bronson. I mean, you had Goon come out, stand at the top of the entrance ramp, and just watch and laugh at Sammy. And Sammy got distracted because just before the match started, you had the backstage segment with Sammy and Gable where Gable tells him, hey, you need to put all your focus on the guy that's in front of you, which is Bronson Reed. The way that Goon gets in your head is he's just distracting you. He's making you take your eye off the prize, off the bigger picture. And it's going to be your demise. And lo and behold, what do you have? You have a match with Sammy and Bronson, and Sammy loses. Why? Because he went exactly against what Gable told him to do, which is pay attention to what's in front of you. You know what? I think that that's going to be the finish to the Mania match. Holy. Okay, Mania match. Goon and Sammy, right? Sammy can have the upper hand on Goon and get distracted by a Gable. Gable told him, hey, keep your eye on what's in front of you. Gable wants to be the one to dethrone Goon, and that's going to happen. However, you need a match in between, because I think that Goon loses at SummerSlam. You can do Sammy and Gable at the next pay-per-view, and then you could set up, and of course Gable's going to win there, but you could set up Gable and Goon for SummerSlam, in which Goon gets dethroned by Gable. And that sets the mid-card off into its own stratosphere. You get Goon into the main event picture, and it's going to be one hell of a year for WWE after WrestleMania, and especially come SummerSlam season. I don't even know where SummerSlam is at, but I think I need to buy tickets now. I think SummerSlam is going to be better than WrestleMania because that has nothing. I digress. Good match. Bronson Reed looked how Bronson Reed's supposed to look, like a monster. Sammy got distracted because he's stupid, and you rack up another Bronson win. In the future, when Bronson's one of the top guys in the mid card and he's the obstacle, it's going to make a lot of sense because the guy's credible and he has wins against everybody. It's going to make a lot of sense. I like the booking of it. Did they need to do more? I don't think that they needed to do more. They got across the point with the time that they had. Everything made sense. I mean, nothing really to say much on that one.